everyone, you're welcome to my channel. So today I'm going to show you guys how I cut and stitch this A-line jumpsuit that has cut together pockets, cut together sleeves, and there is no joining at the waist area. So it's a cut together jumpsuit. So that's how the back looks like, and this is how the front looks like. Hi guys, my name is Fatima A. Yusuf, and on this platform I share sewing tutorials. Don't forget to subscribe, and if something you like to learn, let's get straight into it. The materials I'll be using: I have my elastic tape, I have my chalk, my zipper, my measuring tape, my ruler if you have a longer ruler. Then I have 3 yards of vintage fabric and my scissors. Lastly, your sewing machine, right? First thing to do is to fold your fabric, and you guys already know how I fold my fabric, right? Join 2 ends to meet and then join 2 ends to meet, so you have 2 folds and 4 layers, right? So you're folding using the length. In this case, I've done that here, as you can see. I'll place it on my work floor surface. This is it, and let's get marking. If there will be need for border line, you can draw it, but for mine there is no need for that. I'll just take my tape from my shoulder down to my bust line. That's 10 inches. I have a video talking about the vertical and horizontal lines. I'll drop the link in the description box so you can know how I got 10 and the rest. So from 10 I'll go down to 16 inches, which will be my waistline. Like I said, I'll drop a link so you can understand better why I'm marking 10, why I'm marking 16, right? Then next, now I'll go to my hip line, which is 24. I'll mark it. Then I'll just go ahead and extend those lines, right, with my ruler. So if you have a longer ruler, please use it. The next thing I'm going to mark is my crotch depth. I'm going to divide my hip by 10 inches. I had 4.4, so I'm going to mark 4.4. I went ahead to mark 4, but I can as well mark 4.5 or 4.4, but I marked 4 in my own case, so you can mark anything you get. I'm going to mark it on all those horizontal lines inward. That's what I'm marking. I'm marking them horizontally, right? 4 inches from on the shoulder line, 4 inches on the bust line, on the waistline, on the hip line. I'm going to mark 4 inches, and I'm going to join those 4 inches together with a straight line from the shoulder down to my hip, right? And I'm going to go ahead to measure my crotch length, what I want to use on my crotch length. To get that, get your hip circumference, divide it by 4. Anything you get, add 2 to 3 inches to it. Depends on how free you want the palazzo pant to be. You can add 3. I added 2 to mine, so I had 13. So I joined that line with straight line, like I told you guys, right? And I marked my crotch length after the hip line stopped. So the measurement was from my waistline to my crotch length, right? Why we have another line under the hip line. So I form a curve, as you can see, using my free hand, right? We are good. Now the next thing is to impute my body measurement, and I'll be excluding that 4 inches I marked. It's not going to be included in any measurement I'll be taking right now. So for my sleeve length, I measured what I had, excluding that 4 inches. After measuring, my sleeve length is 21 inches. I'll be adding to it later on. So I went to mark my neckline. I used 3.5. I 3.5 inches round neckline for both back and front. You can as well use V neckline, any type of neckline you want for front, but I went with round for back and front. I used 3.5 inches by 3.5 inches. Like I said, excluding that 4 inches that we marked for our crotch depth, you understand? So I marked my neckline. You can as well draw a shoulder slope if you want, but I'm not doing that in this case. But you can take your shoulder slope 1 inch or 0.5 inch, you understand? Now go to my bust line. I will divide my bust circumference by 4. I'm going to mark what I get, 9.5, excluding that my 4 inches, right? Now add my allowance. I said to add 2.5 inches, but later I decrease it to 2 inches. So it depends on any allowance you want. So I'll mark that on my waistline, same way you draft for your gowns or your tops. Your waist divide by 4. I had 7.5. I went ahead to mark it. Then I'll just mark 2 inches. I'll add 2 inches allowance, right? I think I added 2.5. Then I reduced it later hours, and I went up and reduced the 2.5 onto. Then on that hip line and that crotch length line, you can impute your hip divide by 4 and add additional 2 inches allowance, right? So me, I did it on my crotch length line, right? I marked it, but you might not even need it, but you can do that. Like I said, you can mark your shoulder slope. Then I went to mark my sleeve opening, right? I'll be marking 11 inches, but you can as well do 12, do 10, depends on what you want, like I always tell you guys. So I marked 10, so I'll join that 10 to just meet the under the line, bust line. So I'll just take it straight to meet under the bust line. So I've done that. Then now for my waist, I'm just going to take a slant line to the end of my gown. That's why I said you might not even need your hip measurement in this case, but in case you want, from that your waist, you just take it to meet your hip line, to meet your crotch length line. You know, you'll be having your hip divided by 4 plus section allowance on both the hip line and the crotch length line, right? So that will help you. Then from the crotch length line, you just take a slant line to meet the end of your palazzo or your gown. You guys get it? So that's what I did. And at the down part, I'll go up by 2.5 and just form a curve and take it to meet the down part of the gown because it's an A-line cutting, right? But you can leave it like that if you want, just that the middle and then the side won't be equal. That's what the curve is meant for. I measured my full length and it was okay for me. I'll just fold in a little bit when I'm done. So we are done drafting here. Not fully drafting because it was after a while I was cutting. I remember that I wanted a cut together pocket. Should, in case you don't want a palazzo one, you don't want an A-line one, from that your hip, right? Put your hip divided by 4, add your allowance, and then take it straight down. So you not mark it up. You can mark it under your crotch length line also, but you just take it straight down instead of it coming slantly. You understand? So you have a straight pant underneath at the jumpsuit part. The down part will be straight instead of A-line like mine. You understand? So I went out to cut out that my 4 inches, right? You just watch how I cut. So I'll cut all through that part. Then I remembered I wanted to mark cut together pocket when I wanted to cut the sides, and then we'll mark to cut the pocket. Is not hard. From your waistline, go down by 1 inch. Just mark it. After that 1 inch, mark what you want to use for your pocket opening. Maybe 6, 6.5, 7, or 5.5 or 5. I use 6 for mine, so I'll just mark it. Now I use my freehand to just draw my pockets, design out my pocket, sketch it out. Don't laugh at my pocket, please. So I'm done drafting out the pocket. As you can see, I'll just go ahead and carefully cut out my piece. After cutting, this is what we have, right? Very good. Like I said, you can take it straight if you don't want an A-line shape. I went there to also cut the neckline, and I told you guys my neckline will be same thing for back and front, same type of neckline and same dimension, right? Good. Now the 4 inches that I cut by that side, right, I'm going to be using that to complete my sleeve length because I'm managing fabric here. But in case you have another fabric to add, you can add to get a longer sleeve length, but I'll be using this one to complete my sleeve length. And by the time I'm done stitching it to it, I think I'll be having about 24.5 to 5 inches for my sleeve length, which will be okay for me. I'm going to open up my piece like this, and there will be a U in between, right? A U shape will be formed in between. Now there's a zipper. So how do you get to mark your zipper? You choose which one you want to be your back, which one you want to be your front, because as you open like this, one left is back piece, right is front piece, depends on what you want. You have the 2 sides of each, of maybe back piece or front piece on each side. I don't know if you understand. I went down to mark my zip length. I marked 22, but afterward I had to reduce it to 20 inches when I was sewing it. So what you need to do is measure where you want your zip to stop, the length, right? Then inward, I'm going to measuring. You can measure 1 or 1.5. I went ahead to measure 1 inch for my zipper allowance. On this side, that will be the back piece, right? I'll mark from up to down. I'll draw a straight line. Then on my waistline, I'll mark 0.5 inch there, so I can remove what zipper bulging. It actually works, trust me. So from that 0.5, I'll just take it up slightly and downward slightly, and I've already formed out my zipper allowance, right? So I'll cut it through. And then one mistake I made when I was stitching this part, I'll tell you guys so you don't make that mistake, please. Start marking your zip length, right? You mark 1 inch. So you take down 1 inch in this direction to the other end. That's the way you stitch 1 inch. But me, I use 0.5 inch. So that was a mistake I made. So from the down of where your zipper is stopping, you take 1 inch down, you stitch it round to the end of the other part, the upper part, right, the neck. After doing that, then you find a way to make your right face and right face to meet. Sorry, I don't know why I always film wrong face facing wrong face when I'm making palazzo. I don't know. And it's when I'm when I'm editing, I used to find out that I didn't capture that part. But you just flip it underneath the other one, and then you get to meet right face will meet right face, please. Next thing you need to do is join the shoulders together. then bias the neckline, then add your zipper. And for this sleeve part, I didn't capture it. I thought I did. Addition, right, that will be adding in between. I added this elastic tape. I measured my round sleeve. I divided by 2. I added it and I stitched it. I drag it in between one of each piece and then I stitched it to give it that. I don't even know how to explain. I'm so sorry I didn't capture that process. But what you need to do is measure the amount of elastic tape you need and cut it out, right? Then open up your piece. Since one, you can fold it into, open it up like this, then in the middle you place your elastic tape inside, cover it up. Then when you are stitching the elastic casing part, you'll be dragging the elastic out. I don't know if you guys understand that part. There is a tutorial I did on jilbab, the way I did the sleeve. That's the way you do it. I don't know, maybe I will drop the link of the hijab for you guys so that you can see how I did the sleeve. Place it in between, cover it up, and then you just stitch. While stitching, be dragging your elastic tape. You understand? So after doing that, then you can bias your neckline, add your zipper, right? So first thing is I joined the shoulders together, then I added the band area, right? After adding my elastic tape in it, I stitch it right face facing right face like we normally do. I bias my neckline, then I'll now, you can add your zipper at that point. Then I'll now stitch in this direction. I use 0.5 from the sleeve area to the bust line. The bust line, I use my bust divided by 2, then I mark the allowance I'll be having at the left and right, with same thing, you need allowance left and right. Then I stitch the rest in this direction. So if you're weaving your dress, this is mine, that's why I didn't weave it. You weave weaving it is even very easy for this type of sewing. And I notched the armpit area and also close to the zipper area also. Then I hem the down part of my jumpsuit. That's how easy it is to sew. It's just the same way that you're sewing an A-line gown. There's one I did, an A-line gown. It's the same way you sew your A-line gown. The only difference is that there is a crotch length and depth in between, you understand? So this is it on my mannequin. You can see that my baby actually rocked it, right? So I'm going to, so there's cut together pocket. This is how it looks with the cut together pocket. I know we cut our sleeve together, but you can as well cut your sleeve separately. If you have enough fabric, you can do that, right? So that's how I look at the back too, because I didn't show my back in my video that I made and someone asked about it. So that's how the back looks like, and this is how it looks on me. What do you think about me, about the way I style this dress? Is it giving or not giving? I know it's giving. So thank you for watching. If this video has been helpful in one way or the other, like I always say, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, drop a comment, like my video, and I'll see you guys in another video.